Have you ever wanted to confront somebody and you're just really full to the brim of the situation and they need to hear from you the Word of God? Let me show you how not to do it. In Job chapter 32, we have a new speaker. This is not Job, and this is not one of his three friends. This is Elihu. He's been watching the whole thing, observing the whole thing, and he says, look, I didn't speak until now because I'm younger than you guys. But now I'm full of words. I need to speak, and if I don't speak, I'm just going to explode. And 4 times he says, I'm really angry. I'm angry with you, Job, because you're obviously a hypocrite and you're just not living for God. And I'm angry with the 3 of you friends because you know what? You haven't gotten through to him. So I'm going to speak. And he spends an entire chapter essentially saying, look out, I'm about to say something. And then he spends 5 chapters bloviating about the same stuff that they've already really said. And essentially he gets interrupted by God when God begins to speak. How should you confront someone who is, you think, living in sin? Galatians chapter 6 says this, brothers, if someone is caught in a transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him with a spirit of gentleness. The number 1 command is love. That you lovingly, gently come aside somebody that you think might be living in some kind of a sinful lifestyle. He says, keep watch on yourself lest you be tempted. In other words, look at your own life and say, hey, am I doing the same thing? Look at yourself. Am I doing this in a different way? And then he says, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. You're not there to tell a man you're wrong and I'm right. You're there to say, hey, let me help you. What burden are you carrying? And because the law of Christ is love. And then he says, for if anyone thinks he is something when he is nothing, he deceives himself. Don't have any pride about this. This isn't about you being right and them being wrong. And then he says, but each one must test his own work, and then he'll have reason to boast in himself and not in his neighbor. What is he saying there? He says, look, a lot of people boast because they say, look, I'm this, but my neighbor's a lot worse, so look how good I am. He says, test your work. How are you doing? And you know what? Maybe when you just look at yourself, you're going to say, I need to work on myself, and you won't compare yourself to your neighbor. A lot of confrontation takes place without love. And this is how Elihu was confronting Job for 5 chapters. He says a lot of things that might have been true, but not in love. Whatever you do, do it in love when you confront another person.